Conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to the first meeting of the Port Orford City Council in the year 2026. It's good to have you guys here in the audience tonight. We will begin with a call to order in our roll call. Councillor Brennan. Here. Councillor Burns.
Present.
Councillor Pogwizd.
I'm here.
Councillor Lovendahl.
Present.
Councillor Rask.
Here.
And we have a word from Councillor Webb that he is running a little bit late and will join us soon. We also have with us this evening Recorder Harrison and City Administrator Radcliffe. Oh yeah, gosh, how could I forget? And Public Works Superintendent, our most important other person, John Isidore. Thank you, Joseph. Okay, I ask you to join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to just start with additions to the agenda here. And I have two little things I'd want to add. I want to give a little update on the boat that was washed ashore. So I think I'm just going to add that right in up front to the presentations to council as item 5B, or I will recommend that. And also we need to have a little discussion about our painting that we're going to be working on this weekend at City Hall. So maybe let's add that as 8B. Can we just add that by consensus?
Yes.
Is that okay? Okay. Okay, with that, I'm going to open it up to citizen concerns. So I think we have some people in the audience. Please, those who are interested, Joseph, who do we have on the list first? Give it to me. Okay, Chris, why don't you come forward? Please state your name and address, and then you have your 3 minutes. Welcome.
My name's Chris Hawthorne, 450 Quadama in Port Orford. And the reason I'm here is because I want to encourage the city and the city administrator to start getting the TLT taxes from the Airbnb directly, as that's something that they do. In most cities in Oregon, including Bandon and our nearby neighbors, get their revenue from the vacation rental companies directly. And that, I think that would eliminate the mistakes or, loss or late filings of this revenue. And I think it would be very advantageous to the city to actually get all of the funds it's due from these vacation rentals. And I just know for a fact that it's easy to make a mistake. And when you have, I don't think that's me. When you have, so many people doing this, maybe new at it or whatever, I just think that it eliminates any potential problems for loss of revenue by getting those funds directly from Airbnb. And then it also, the people who do have Airbnb, have vacation rentals, don't have to go through the effort of, doing additional bookwork.
Great. Thank you for that constructive suggestion.
Yeah, and I think we do, if I'm not mistaken, Dina Lang is the person who knows it best, but I thought that we do get it from CASA. I think they do directly pay. So you're specifically talking about Airbnb?
I'm talking about, yeah.
Before we go on here, can I just ask whoever has the music on to turn it off, please? Oh, okay. Sorry, Chris. Thanks. Sorry. Multimedia presentation and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
You brought your own walk-up.
He's trying to distract us with the music while delivering his.
Right. Sounded kind of close, but yeah, Airbnb is probably the one that has more vacation rentals than any company that people use. But I also know that Booking.com and VRBO do the same thing. So I think if you can work it out, I mean, I would go to Airbnb first and, see how the process goes so that you can be one of the cities that they pay directly. Rather than, the way it works now is they put the city tax money into the vacation rental owner's account, and then it's up to the vacation owner to relay that to the city. And so it just skips that whole step of having the owners get it and have to deal with it and do the bookkeeping and everything. And it just goes directly to the city. And I think we'll find that the revenue will increase
Okay.
by the quarters when you compare them to previous quarters, because you're getting 100% of what you're owed.
And I think another aspect of that, Chris, we just did, over the past year, we did a kind of an overhaul of our TLT code and looked at our protocols. So we're kind of trying to straighten things out. We have not been collecting that from those organizations. We've only been collecting from the owners. So my understanding is the state law is that those entities actually are also supposed to be paying in. Like Airbnb is supposed to give us a cut from what they get too. So that's something I see as sort of tier 2 of our working on this.
Oh,
But it's like, it's another, these things happen incrementally. So it's something that we need to work on, definitely.
So we'll
right.
look at it.
It was a couple of years ago that the state just said, don't even send us any more money. We've got it worked out with the state of Oregon, because we used to have to do that with the state of Oregon as well, sending them their 1.5%.
Yeah.
And then they just said, don't do it anymore. The state told us to stop doing it because they were getting it. So.
Okay, great suggestion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, next up we have Troy Russell.
Good evening. Troy Russell. I'm a resident of Bandon, and I live on Trout Pond Lane. And just excuse me for a minute, I have to cue up my music. I came here to get an update on the feasibility study and where you were with that, and I got that update from Melissa about 30 minutes ago. I was sitting out in the parking lot, and so
Okay.
I'm good. I just wanted to be on record. We're still interested for now of reusing wastewater, and
Okay.
so we'll just wait our turn.
Excellent. And, we don't always give responses in this space and time, but just to give the quick and dirty on this, council knows we did have, we are working on the water recycling project. We we completed the feasibility study last fall. We had a very good meeting. Was it last month or was it late? I think it was
November
early last
15th.
month.
I think it was
I was just
November.
listening.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay. We had a very good meeting with the engineer about the next phase of this, and we expect to hear what the schedule is. Next week, we'll be meeting with them. And so for the next phase of that project. So thank you for your interest. We'll keep
Thank
you
you.
posted. Okay. Any further citizen concerns here or online?
No one seems to be raising their hand or commenting online.
Okay, hearing none, we will move on to agenda item number 4, which is the consent calendar. And,
I need to step out because Aaron's picture's not coming through.
okay. The consent calendar, I will just point out that we have in this consent calendar the minutes, and then a correction came up for the minutes from last June. We were discussing that meeting at the last meeting, which was about some details related to the public safety fee. And in reviewing the minutes and the recording, it became clear that there had been an error in those minutes. So that's what that correction is. It's adding 2 words and add, which Joseph has provided on page 8. So we can entertain a motion to adopt these items, or if we wanted to pull out that correction or do anything separately, we could do that. Or we could, I would entertain a motion to pass the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Counselor Rask,
Yes.
Counselor Lovendall,
Yes.
Counselor Pogwiz,
Abstain.
Counselor Burns,
Yes.
Counselor Brennan.
Yes.
Okay,
Our web just arrived.
okay.
Uh,
Should we hold off on this vote, or can we pass it without him?
It can pass either way. If he would like to formally abstain. since
Would you
he
like to-
arrived.
Would you like us to hold off so you can, we're doing the
I felt
consent
really important.
calendar.
Wow, it doesn't sound like it's gonna do much. I heard a lot of yays
We've got 4 to abstain, so yeah,
or abstentions.
no, 4
Oh.
yay and 1 abstention. So why don't we just
No needs.
keep it going? That's the consent calendar.
Yeah.
Okay, we will move on then. Do we have, is Erin able to get in yet?
Finally went through. So
Okay.
assuming she's doing it, I just wrote again, did it work? Because the Wi-Fi is better in our office than it is in here, and it was being very slow.
Okay, so while we're waiting for Erin to arrive, then I'm going to just switch. I had mentioned to you, I wanted to add in an update on our boat that was washed ashore. So I'll do that before Erin comes in. So I was able to get an update from State Parks, Justin Helberg, and I want to thank Counselor Webb for recommending getting an update. State Parks coordinates these operations in these situations, and he said that yesterday the salvage crew had successfully removed 1,000 gallons of fuel and about 80 gallons of hydraulic fluid from the boat ruin. And today that the salvage master had cleaned up quite a lot more and has it down to the hull. Also yesterday, State Parks crew and the operator and several Good Samaritans from the good people of Port Orford have been helping to gather up the scattered debris. Apparently there was a lot of gear and foam insulation on the beach scattered about a quarter mile up and down. And so people were bringing that into place. The salvage operation is going to be continuing during this good weather window. So State Parks is going to be keeping the Paradise Point access closed for this week. The beach is going to be still open to walkers, and those who want to help pick up debris are welcome to help, but they just want to make sure people are respectful of the equipment moving back and forth. So that's the update so far on that.
Did you get any more information on how they arrived there? Their
I
track
did-
line?
I did not yet. It's a matter that's under investigation, and I was told that that information cannot be shared just yet, but that I'm in touch with the Coast Guard on that. So I will
Right.
hopefully be able to get more, but they are unable to share that information at this
They do
time.
have a track though. We may want to have our attorney send a letter to ask them to preserve that.
The Coast Guard mentioned to me he wasn't sure that there would be a vessel tracking on the vehicle of that size, vessel of that size.
It does have it has
Okay.
an AIS too, so.
So why don't we can talk more about
Yeah,
that at maybe later, or we can talk about it offline. So we don't have Erin still? Do you want to have her? I wonder if she's willing to call in.
That's what I just said. I can call her.
Also call her from inside the meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Want to try that?
yeah. You can get me her number.
I'm fabulous. How are you doing? I'm pretty dang fabulous. Yeah.
Well, there's something up on the screen. Is that you?
Yes, this is me.
Okay, great. Oh, here, Erin says she's here.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, excellent. We were just going to try to call you. Welcome, Erin. So now we just have to see if we can hear her. She can hear us.
yeah, I'm not. Well, she might be caller 1 or caller 2.
Okay. Why don't we see if we can get her on? So everyone, what we're waiting for is we have a presentation this evening from Erin Minster, who's our excellent partner with Curry Soil and Water Conservation District. She says she's asking if she's muted. Erin, do you know, you don't know if you're caller 1 or 2. We don't see your name.
All right. If she's caller 1, I just sent an unmute request to her.
Joseph is sending an unmute request if you're caller 1. She says she's talking and we're not hearing her. So anyway.
So Aaron, I'm going to call you on your cell phone. I'm going to put you on speaker. Well, oh no.
I can call her from
Okay.
in
Well,
here.
Either way.
Would work a little bit better. Just need that
She
number.
just said, okay. So I'm just going to do this.
Okay.
In any case, I was saying the city of Port Orford has an intergovernmental agreement with the Curry Soil and Water Conservation District. And they are absolutely fabulous partners to us in helping us with management of our drinking water source area and also in our management of noxious weeds such as gorse and Scotch broom. So
There we go. Now I can. Okay.
Erin helps us with all those things. And as part of our agreement, she is supposed to be giving us a report on what she did last year
Nope,
and
you're not everyone yet. You're just
report on what
and
she's
continue.
going to do this coming year. So
Okay. Well, I'm going to put you on speaker now. Okay, Aaron, welcome.
Hi, hello everyone. Erin Minster, Curry Soil and Water Conservation District.
welcome, Erin. I was just telling everybody about our IGA with you and how, as part of that and what a great partner and helper you are with the things you do. And that is part of our IGA. We need to have you come every year and tell us what you did last year and what you are going to do next year. And we've passed out your scope of work and your report to the council.
Okay, great. Is there anything you guys want me to go over?
Well, why don't you just briefly, could you at a high level just mention the things that you did
Sure.
last year and then and what you're going to do next year, and then if people have questions they can ask.
Okay, sounds good. So last year we, there's 2 activities going on. One is noxious weed control focused on gorse in the drinking water source area, and the other is a failing culvert off of Vista Road. As far as the noxious weed work and the gorse, we've been working on this for quite a few years. So we were able to, again, manually control some gorse in what's called the Sorensen parcel. That gets manually weed-eated. And then we have another separate area in that same parcel that we can get a mower to, and we mechanically mowed around some spruce plantings that we planted 2 years ago. There's pretty good survival. There's also some Port Orford cedar, resistant Port Orford cedar that we planted in there too. We lost a few trees in some of the droughty spots, but it looks pretty good with survival. And then we also had, just at the end of the year, the couple volunteers from Port Orford Watershed Council come out, and they helped clear around those trees to where the mower couldn't reach. So that was really helpful. And then there's a couple other small spots within the drinking water source area. One, we pulled 400 plants and seedlings by hand. And then there's a access road, 2 access roads where we did some chemical treatment along the side of the road for seedlings, and we hand pulled some Scotch broom as well. And a lot of that was, some of that was with loan money, and some of that was with grant funds that we have. And then I did work with some volunteers that are working on the 16th Street right-of-way where the designated homeless camp is, with just some technical assistance about how to maybe control the gorse and the Scotch broom in there as well. So it sounds like some of that work has happened. And then as far as the culvert, so I worked with the city's engineer, Civil West, to complete a design. So they got 100% design done. The March storms last year really did a number on the culvert. It's barely hanging on out there. But it's still passing water. The good news is it's not a very flashy stream, so the high water events, it's surviving those. So once we got the design done, went through some permitting, cultural resource consultation, all those things. Submitted an ODF permit to remove the culvert, and the city did put out an RFP, which we were unsuccessful getting any bids on. It was kind of late in the year, and the contractors were concerned about, having enough time, which is reasonable. We were also unable to secure funding. I had put in a grant to a foundation, and we didn't get that funding. So that kind of brings us to this year. And I can pause if anybody has any questions about what I went over so far.
Hearing none, I think you can just keep going, Erin. I've been kind of
Okay.
we've been keeping people up to date about some of this stuff as we've gone
Okay.
too. So
Okay, great. Yeah. The other thing we started last year is part of that loan is to look at sediment source and to look at all the old crossings and road network within the drinking water source area. We started that in March last year, but when the culvert took that hit, we kind of refocused efforts. So we'll be finishing that up here in 2026 and submitting kind of a report and a GIS layer of, what all the city has out there. There's really not a lot left. We did get to some very old crossings up in the woods there that turned out to be, they were originally log cribs. So they have degraded. I would say there's not much to do with those crossings, but it's good to know there's not more pipes up there. It's just old log cribs, and several of them look pretty healed over. It's not really an issue. And then, so we're just moving into 2026. I just submitted an additional grant to the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife Private Forest Accord Grant Program that went in January 9th. To try to get some funding for this culvert. There is another application that we put in last year to ODF, the Department of Forestry. They have a program called SFISH. I can't remember what that acronym means right now, but that is funding that would happen if we rank high enough. Currently, that funding is tied up at the governor's office. So we're kind of waiting. We've been waiting for a while on that and just submitting these other grant applications as they come up, just to try to make sure we get cast our nets as far as we can. So really for 2026, we're going to just keep working on trying to fund that culvert and hopefully get the money and implement that removal later this summer in the in-water work period that starts in July. And then with the gorse control, I have funding to mow again. I have money to mow twice in the mowing area, and we'll also hit up the other spots in the manual treatment. So that work will continue. Was there a question?
I was curious about the property next to Ray's, if you were going to come in and spray that this spring.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? It's kind of hard to hear you guys.
Okay, I'll pass it on. So is there going to be a plan to go into that Ray's Woods area again this spring to do more spraying or removal
In which part of the woods?
at the 16th Street right-of-way area.
Oh, yeah, so yes, I have funds that we're gonna spray what sprouts back from the weed eating. And I'm not sure, I'm not sure if it happened or not, but we did line up some mulch to be deposited, which will really help with any seed sprout. But yeah, we have it on the plan to spray the resprout.
Thank you.
Great.
Do
Thank
that
you, he
with
said.
People there? Do
Okay.
you do that with people there?
I don't think it's being asked, Aaron, if we would be doing that with people there. I'm sure there would be some coordination.
Yeah, we're gonna have to coordinate that. And I haven't, really talked with you guys about what that looks like. But yeah, we will have to coordinate it. So it'll probably be, a notice, probably a few days ahead of time. And on the day of, we may need someone from the city to kind of just be there to assist. We also have to work out an agreement with Rays, as part of that area is actually on their property. But the volunteer that's coordinating it all was gonna help get us a cooperative agreement. So, and I've talked to the other neighbors as well. So yeah, there will definitely be some coordination. I would prefer not to have folks in there when that happens.
Okay, any other questions?
Excuse me. Jeez, Pete.
I would just want to underscore that one of the amazing things about working with Erin is that she is just such a professional. It's such a great thing that we have the partnership with her. She coordinates with all the neighbors because she has to access some of the city lands. So she informs them what's happening. We've coordinated with her on grants. She goes and gets her own grants to help fund a lot of this work. So it's just such a added value to our city. Not only that, she's just a source of tremendous advice and good thoughts about how to tackle some of these things. So I really appreciate you, Erin, and we'll look forward to working with you in this coming year.
Thanks, Ann. Yeah, and you guys have been great as well, and really happy to help because you guys have quite the stack of challenges that you're facing. And I will just say it's been a tough year for funding, so I don't feel like not getting these grants was a failure. It's just a sign of the times. I've been rejected on more grants this year than I ever have in many, many years. So it's just tight out there. And but I have faith that we'll find the money here and get this done.
Terrific. Excellent. Well, Erin, thank you so much for joining us this evening. If there's no further questions, we'll just say goodbye and thank you very much.
All right. Well, take care, everyone.
Okay, feel better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Excellent. So we got that one done. Now we're going to move on to our reports. And so the administrator has the first report.
Okay. As you saw, and I want to mention it here, Happy New Year, everyone, first of all. But we did have a scam alert that came through my listserv of city administrators. Just to remind citizens, we will never send you a link that says, oh, we need you to wire us money, or send something like that would have you need to pay us for anything. But a scam was going around where other not very nice people were looking at other cities' packets and getting names and information and businesses of people who had put in for permits or other things, and then would target them specifically and ask for them to send in a link. So again, the city of Port Orford is not going to ever do that for you. So just as a reminder. Community building, we just discussed this. We've been in meetings every week for the last number of months with the folks who are doing the engineering and the construction folks. It's looking beautiful in there. Today we went and learned how to program the HVAC system to do that. And it made me feel good because Wade Phillips, who's one of our public works fellows who's going to be helping with that, he's been in Port Orford his whole life, and he walked in and he's like, this is just so beautiful. I can't believe we're in the same place. Like, I'm just in awe. And so that made me feel really good because that was someone who has seen it forever. And so it really is a cool space. So we're excited to have that. I wanted to update also the credit card fees. At the beginning of the fiscal year, the fiscal committee and then with the budget committee talked about ways to increase our revenues. And one of those was to pass along to the customers as a convenience fee for using online credit cards. There has been a lot of change in this. It's been in the news if you've watched it. And we've worked with Tyler, which is the group, the software package we use for everything, from utilities to payroll to accounts payable to all of that. And they have allowed some cities and counties to pass along this fee, of the credit card fee, but then they've realized that they've been out of bounds doing that. And so they then had us talk to Global Payments, which is the other group that we run our payments through, and still to be continued. We had another meeting this morning with them. They're looking into working with that other third-party portal to work on this, but it seems to be a snafu at a much larger level than just Port Orford. So we're going to hurry up and wait and get the information as they find it out for us, but we're still working on that part of it. So
we're still absorbing that.
we are still absorbing the credit card fees. And the problem is that the different credit card companies are variable. And so I don't know the exact percentages, but the lowest one charges 1.7%. That might be Discover. I'm making things up. That might be Discover. But Visa might charge 2.8 and MasterCard might be at, 3.4. I don't know. But you can't take any of those fees unless you pick the lowest one, and even that's a little dicey, or you have to know exactly what the percentage is for each of those transactions, each of those things, which then would be a tracking nightmare. And so the credit card companies are kind of changing the goal line a little bit on what we need to do with this. And so we're still trying to see where they're going to land on this. But they said, well, we can send you paperwork that you can sign and say, yes, we understand we're way out of bounds and we want to do it anyway. And I said, no, we're not doing that. So we're going to keep ourselves in firm legal good standing. And
It seems like we can't really afford just to be able to take credit cards. I mean, have we always taken credit cards?
well, I mean, I've only been here 2 years and they have. So I think it has been with this. And to be clear on this, this would only be through the portal and through the credit cards on the credit or debit automatic deductions. If people walk in with credit cards into the office, we're not going to charge them this.
It doesn't cost us.
Oh, it does cost us, but
In fact, that if you recall, that's one of the reasons we investigated this, is because all of a sudden we realized that was actually a pretty big chunk of money that we
Yeah.
were spending. So that's something we'll have to.
we're going to continue looking at it.
Is it-
And I'm just trying to give an update that yes, we are still working on this. It's still in flux. And it was, if I'm remembering from the budget meetings, it was to the tune of $30,000 between water and sewer. So it is a chunk of change that we are trying to figure out how to.
But I think your point is well taken, which is if it's such a rigmarole, maybe just not providing that particular service
Well, that is an option.
might have to become an option to consider. Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Because we could do direct bank
Or we could
without a fee.
encourage people to do that.
Right. And I mean, a lot of our citizens drop checks and bring them in and do it that way. So yeah, but also those just bank pass-throughs that can come through ACH is another way to do it.
Cool.
So, yeah, but that would be a question if we still want to do those, because most people, that's how they pay, is by credit or debit. It's very convenient for people. So that was this morning. And also one of the things, we've already had it's not in here, but we've already had a contract with Joseph's Janitorial out of Coquille. We re-upped that contract. And we've actually locked it in on their request also for 3 years. So he's locked in the price for 3 years, which is nice. A small increase from last year to this year, but I think it will benefit both to have that stability for that. So I wanted to update council too that we did update that contract with him. That's all I have,
Okay.
unless there's other questions.
You have any questions? No. Thank you very much, Melissa. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is the mayor's report. And this month being January, I'm going to take the time to do something a little bit different, which is what I did last year, which is to kind of give a state of the city assessment or to share with you. And it's a tradition for top elected officials and governing bodies to share the current state of affairs at the beginning of a year. And I think it's a really good practice. So anyway, I will share with you my perspective on where we're at as mayor. In short, Port Orford continues to face many of the same challenges as last year, most notably major budget constraints and aging infrastructure. But your mayor, is my husband taking a picture? Oh, your mayor, council, and city staff have been working hard to maintain operations while still aiming to get us into a better path moving forward. I have to say, over the past year, I've gained a much deeper appreciation for how city government, by providing essential water, sewer, and public safety services, as well as parks and facilities and planning, really forms the foundation for what makes our community a great place to live. Day after day, and sometimes all through the night, our small but dedicated staff works to provide these services, often in the face of overwhelming challenges. We see that and appreciate them. However, there are not simply enough resources to fix all of our problems, which have accumulated through the years. And so we have to be strategic in tackling the projects needed to keep our little city safe and running well. Last year in this talk, I focused attention on how we got into this situation. But this year, I want to focus on the positive accomplishments from 2025. First, City Administrator Melissa Radcliffe has continued to dig us out of a big pile of past problems. She's strengthening the staff team through thoughtful hiring, engaged management, and mentorship. She and I are working closely together, especially on managing our many grant-based projects, which resulted in more than $3 million of external funds coming into our town last year to improve our city's facilities and infrastructure. The most visible and exciting of these grant-funded projects is our community building renovation. Since late April, crews have revamped this dilapidated building into a vibrant public space, as Melissa just mentioned, and we really look forward to celebrating its reopening next month. That project was funded with a $1.5 million federal community development block grant, as well as substantial private donations from the Bandon Dunes Charitable Foundation, the Oregon Community Foundation, as well as from a number of generous individuals who made donations through the Rotary Club Community Service Fund, which together with the Community Complex Friends have been truly helpful partners in this major capital improvement project. And I hope it's going to be a place where our community can gather, meet, celebrate, discuss, be creative, dance, grieve, help our neighbors, and kindle the vitality of our special town. With the great leadership and partnership of amazing volunteers at Port Orford Main Street, we're also in the process of renovating our visitor center with much needed new roof, windows, floor, and more. As the first place many visitors stop, this major upgrade will be another big boost for our town. Other big accomplishments include securing a $400,000 OWEB grant to pay off the loan we got used to purchase land in our drinking water protection area, completing a feasibility study for the Port Orford water recycling project with funds secured for us by Senator Smith and Representative Boyce. And as I was mentioning earlier, the next phases of that project we expect will kick off soon. Some of the past year's biggest disappointments were cases where we worked really hard to advance infrastructure projects but did not succeed owing to circumstances beyond our control. Most notably, our effort to fix the city's most leak-prone water lines was thwarted when the federal government totally canceled the FEMA brick grant program. Our long overdue efforts to dredge our reservoir were upended when bids came in much higher than anticipated, and the same thing delayed the American Legion Hall renovation. Our work to remove the failing culvert upstream of our reservoir failed because funds did not come through at all there. One of the things I have to say is I've found that Administrator Radcliffe always manages to come up with an apt metaphor for circumstances we're in. And she recently told me, it's like we're playing Chutes and Ladders, getting so close to the top, but then we get that card that sends us careening back down to the bottom. And I don't know, you guys probably, most of you probably remember playing Chutes and Ladders. I thought that is so true, but we are still in the game and we're not giving up. Beyond capital improvement projects, I want to recognize that our city council also did a lot of important work this past year in a thoughtful, respectful manner, which I think is a notable accomplishment in this day and age. Together with the Planning Commission, we completed a major update of our city code to provide more flexibility for affordable housing. And most important, we took on the mission critical task of making our city's budget sustainable. We're still working on that. But together with staff, we looked for creative ways to become more efficient and increase revenues to keep up with the rising costs of providing city services. After reviewing options, we picked the most effective strategies to advance the 3% increase of the transient lodging tax effective this January, paid by visitors rather than residents. Given the emergency funding gap mid-year, we also adopted the public safety fee to ensure the continuation of law enforcement services. City staff has worked to implement these and other policies to help get us onto firmer financial footing. Working with a financial consultant, we finally caught up on our audits and instituted a forward-looking approach to budgeting, which we aim to continue with a new consultant that we are just hiring right now to help us in the coming year. However, the truth is we still have big challenges with our finances. So looking ahead to 2026, I expect we will need to have thoughtful and informed discussions on about both our infrastructure and finance challenges, and about how we want to move into the future as a community. Hopefully we can have some of those discussions in that beautiful community building. Water, I think, must be our focus. And so this year, I already know we're going to once again strive to implement the highest priority infrastructure projects. I truly wish I could wave a magic wand to solve all of our accumulated problems. But the straight reality is we are a small town with limited resources and rising costs. So we will need to come together to figure out solutions. As you all know, we all know, Port Orford is a remarkable place to live, not only because of our beautiful location at the edge of the Pacific, but also because of the many wonderful, caring, creative, and generous residents who contribute in so many ways. And I am truly grateful for our dedicated community and city volunteers. And for that reason, in part, I remain optimistic that with our city council, our dedicated staff, community support, and common purpose, we can tackle the problems we now face. I know that by working together, we can do our best and keep making Port Orford a better place. So onward we press into 2026. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, excellent. So
Onward we press. That is
Onward
like
we press.
Always the
that's what the mayor always
the
says.
tagline. Onward
Okay.
we press.
Different ones of us have our little things we say. That's mine. Okay. So on we go to, we do not have finance report this month will be,
Next month.
we'll have one hopefully next month. Public Works, John, you've had to stay all this time, so lay it on.
Right.
Aren't you glad? Because I'm doing my best to
You did.
bail out your bacon.
You are. You're helping immensely. I'll just touch on a couple things. December was a challenging month for all of us at Public Works, and I just like to shout out to all the employees, Michael, Brad, Ryan, Wade. They worked the most overtime I think we've ever worked, according to Dina.
Correct,
That's payroll month.
correct.
It was all night, all day, all night, all day. We were in pretty low status for making water because of the rain. During that Christmas week, we had over 7 inches of rain, and that's what put the plant to condition it was. And it's a good thing it was full when it all started. Otherwise, it could have been a different direction. But they really knocked it out of the park, those guys. They're a big pat on their backs. And we continue doing what we're doing. I don't think I have a huge amount after that. We've had several leaks. Pretty big one the other day on Jefferson. That was pretty impressive. Our Vector truck had to go to Portland for a mechanical failure that turned out to was warranted about 5 years ago, but it's no longer warranted. But it was a timing gear bolt that came loose, put a hole in the timing cover. So we had to pull the motor and take the fans off. And so now it's back over at Owens Equipment because they won't let anybody else take the fans apart. So Owens Equipment's putting it back together. I talked to him today. He said that he was pretty impressed with the condition of the truck. Fans were really good. They're $6,000 a piece and there's a 4-stack. So, and that's what he was worried about. But the condition of the truck, from what he can see, there were some minor things that we missed when we bought it that we didn't know that weren't huge, but they could have been, and they were caught there at the equipment. So we're going to go up next Friday, pick the truck up, do a few hours of training with the guy, and hopefully return it to service where we desperately need it, because our yellow ones, I think, had its last day on the road. Other than that, we did a lot of work spent a lot of money down at wastewater. We got the drives installed, the new drives for RAS and WAS pumps. There's one more drive to do that we didn't purchase because I wanted to see what the total cost was going to be, because it was T&M for installation. He was working on the computer brain today, and there's a glitch with something. I don't know exactly what it is. I didn't have a chance to catch up with him on that, but at least they're in and they're running and the pumps aren't dropping out and having to be restarted all the time. So that's a big deal. The garage door for the city shop, originally it was quoted at about 9,800, but they called me back and they're going to give us a deal for 4,500, $5,000 with installation for 4,700 and change, but it's non-insulated. And I said, yeah, we'll take the cheaper one. So we'll get that installed. We only have one working bay in the shop where we can work on equipment with a concrete floor. So it's really necessary. And it's a big door. It's 16 by 14. So anyway, it was stuck down. We had some pretty important equipment inside of it. So it was like, okay, this is bad. But we got it open, we got our stuff working, and they made temporary repairs. And so I'll get that scheduled. And then we're just trudging along one water line at a time. So
How's the manifolds coming on the water treatment plant?
we're still talking with Tonka Water Systems. The age of the panel is very concerning to be retrofitted since it's a dinosaur. So I got to have a discussion with that guy tomorrow probably and figure out, or Monday afternoon actually. I sent him some more pictures and more diagrams. He really wants the full-size print sent to him. So we may have to run up to Coos Bay and have them scanned digitally so we can send them to him. But he is still working, trying to figure out an easy retrofit. There's another company coming through town. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Pure Water. Their vendor, Northwest Regional Manager's coming through, and he reached out and wanted to talk to me about filters. So they provide a couple different ways of cleaning them. I don't know if that's going to be viable in our case or not, but I'll at least talk to the guy. Maybe there's some hope that we run a cleaning cycle and we can wait until we get the money to redo them. I don't know, but I'm willing to try something at this point. Number 2 is lasting about 3 times as long as number 1, and that was the filter we knew we had problems with. So we had 8.5, almost 9 million gallons of raw water through the plant last month, and we made about 5 million and sold, well, just under, we sold about 2 million. So we bypassed about 4 million gallons of water. That's how bad it was in the month of December. That's a lot of water. But is what it is. We made it work. So shout out to the guys. You see them, say, hey, good job.
Yeah, please, can you pass that on? I think everybody would want to thank them.
Definitely.
Please pass on our appreciation.
And the manifold for the main water tank, the up on the Coast Guard Hill.
We haven't done anything with it. We're still waiting for, trying to figure out, well, one, I got to get to a few pretty high cost repairs before I dive into that. Jeremy is willing to weld it for us and help us through the project without doing a total replacement, but he also works a full-time job and does his welding gig on the side. So I'm trying to work something out with him right now. He's in Idaho doing cable for a fiber company. So
So is that pretty critical?
well, we're down to one pump and we can't really put another pump in until we do something about the mounting and the brackets because they're all rotted out.
Is that the manifold that's all welded together at the bottom?
Yep, that is. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of just needs to be replaced, but we had it budgeted last year, but then when we got ready to buy it, our new finance gal was like, yeah, don't buy anything. So we didn't buy it. And the year before it was kind of the same thing. So we've just kind of stalled. It was about, I think I want to say it was around 110,000 when we originally got the quote. And I think it's still right around 130 without install. But we got to cut a hole in the side of the building because it's a brick and there's no way to get it in or out, the old one out. So, well, we can chunk the old one up into pieces and carry it out, but the new one, we'd prefer not to disassemble in the parking lot and drag in a piece at a time. So we were talking about cutting a hole in the cinder block, but when the company looked at it, they're like, yeah, that block's not filled. I won't cut it because it'll probably fall down. So it was grouted, but not filled. So we're like, okay, now what? So we may just have to go up to the eave, wood eave, splice in a small roll up door and hopefully be able to stabilize that with wood. But we'll come up with something. It's going in there one way or another, but hopefully next budget cycle, I would really hope. That's going to be one of my top on my list. And we have another lift station I'd like to get in on the next one too, but we're still kind of weighing our cost on the installation of the Arizona one.
What would be really helpful to do, and I think you're doing this, Melissa, is to check in on where we're at. We haven't really had the financial reports to understand where your department is at in terms of how much money we have left for those things.
I get a monthly from Dina every couple of months. I get one that has all my totals so I can kind of see what's left in what places.
Yeah, it would be helpful. We
Right.
we used to get those kinds of things and we haven't lately. So it would be just so that
We've still got our emergency funds that we haven't had to touch yet. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Are we
Really?
waiting for money on the 200 foot of wire for the sprayers?
Yeah. And the time to do it. We need our Vector truck back for sure because there's too much stuff in the ground there to go digging with a backhoe.
It'll
So
be
there's a lot of,
replacing underlying.
yeah, we gotta run a whole new run, conduit, about 200 feet of it and cut through the asphalt and do another tie-in, but
So we aren't using the sprayers.
no, not right now. We don't need them in the winter time. It's usually in the summertime when we get the grease.
Oh, okay.
Counselor Lovendall, did you have a question?
I just had a couple, just little small ones,
Sure.
because I don't understand. You're far wiser than I am on this. The water plant had one fail and will be rebuilt in January. What does that mean?
Where did I write that at? What number?
Number 3,
Number
under
3.
water treatment plant.
Oh, yeah, annual cross connection. So every year we do the backflow inspections throughout town, even the customers that are on irrigation systems, wherever they're required. Doc has 5 or 6. We have a major one at the water treatment plant and it failed, which it's been marginal the last 4 or 5 years. So the replacement cost was about $9,500 and we decided to gamble with a rebuild and we had Avery come down. They ordered a kit. We rebuilt it for about, I think about $2,500 with labor. So
That's a good.
Yeah, it was good to save it. Plus, we didn't want to take it apart because it's in that stack at the back of the filters where there's all those pipes and fittings and everything. So, yeah, it worked out really well. But it's been marginal for 3 years. We had 2 others fail, but they were customers, I believe. I think we had 3 total this year. There's about 44 or 43 on the list throughout town, apartment buildings, anywhere the state requires it. So, we send the customer, we pay a fee per backflow inspection. And then we pass that to the customer. If it's a customer's own, Gary has one. We didn't do it this year because it's a new install. We'll get it next year. And we just pass that fee to them, and then they get I have the state paperwork saying that if they were asked, because it's a state required for backflow testing annually.
Right. And the other question I was wondering about, we had vandalism
Yep.
on 25th, the 2-inch,
Yeah.
lost 2.5 feet of water.
Mhm. Yep.
What did they do?
Somehow they took the hose and valve assembly off a 2-inch pipe. I don't know how, but there was a garbage can there and a garden hose and some fittings when we found that leak. And that's the one that blew off on us the other night because it didn't have a good enough restraint. So that one cost me about 4 feet of water.
So is there any I was wondering,
Yeah,
is there any investigation on that or anything?
I don't know. We took pictures, but there's no fingerprints or anything. It happened about 11 or 12 o'clock at night. I don't remember when we found out, but
We do something to prevent future?
we hope so, like move it inside the fenced area since it's just on this side the fence, on the outside the fence area. Yeah, it should have been put inside, but there's no valve on that line either. That's what made the repair difficult this time. So we'll probably dig the main up on the other side, shut it off there, cut it, run it through the fence and reattach.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank your guys.
Yes.
You do a great job.
Absolutely. Okay. Any other further questions? Hearing none, let's just, we can move on. Thank you so much, John.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your hard work. We know that you're
Yep.
shoulder a lot of this stress of keeping things going.
Up and on, right?
Yep, onward we press.
Yep. All right. Thanks. Good night.
Good night.
Um,
Okay, next up is planning. Joseph, do you have any updates for us from the planning commission or planning department?
Planning Commission had their first meeting in a few months earlier this week. So they've begun to look at the dark sky ordinance and potential code enforcement mechanisms as per previous council directive. I should have more of an update after we can get more into the nitty gritty of those items.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, moving on to liaison reports, parks. Sarah.
I have just a couple of things. Sorry, I didn't get my written report in. We held our meeting a week later. We did look at some of the materials that we have. He left. We have 2 park benches that are being housed and not used. And so we were wondering if one of those could be put up at Fort Point, because we have this nice access up to that city property. And there's
One
no-
of them is supposed to be for Fort Point, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And so one of them was already purchased for Fort Point, but there's very specific ways that has, because it's an archaeological site, that has to be installed. So you may recall we're working with the Historic Preservation Committee and the tribes to come up with the sign.
Right.
And so it sounds like what's going to happen is that the new chief of the Coquel tribe is willing to help install the bench and the sign,
Oh, the bench and the sign.
because they have to be put onto like concrete
Right.
footing that's going to be on
Yeah.
top. So I think it's great that they're willing to help, because otherwise I was thinking, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this and make sure we do it right? So
Right.
That's
Okay, so that's in the works.
that's in the works, hopefully for later this spring.
And we also met the new park hosts, and they seem eager and they've started already.
Yep.
And so we're really thrilled that we now have 2 park hosts. And their attitude is just great. So we're very pleased. We're still looking for two more people to be on the Parks Commission. So anybody knows of anybody that might want to join our group, we would love to have two more people. So, and now we're going to go and look at, because we have new commissioners, Sunday, we're all going to look to all the places that are under our umbrella so that everybody kind of knows and sees.
Sarah, does everybody, or are you able to provide everybody with the parks master plan? So either digitally or in paper, so people understand kind of what the scope of work is or the scope of
We do have copies. I
responsibility?
have given copies to the,
Great. Okay.
whether, for them to read. They're paper copies.
Great.
So anyway, onward. Thank you.
I want to mention one thing to you too, Sarah. Last time you brought up concern about the chain link fence, need for the chain link fence, the skateboard park. I happened to be at a meeting with John Isidore and the engineer yesterday down there about that new raw water tank we're going to have to put into to the park. And he happened to have a rolling device. And so we measured the perimeter so that we could figure out how much fencing would be needed. So I have that number for you. And so I think the next step on that is to figure out how much it would cost and if we have the money if we have money to do that.
Was fence around it?
There
previous?
was. And
yeah.
there's still posts
Oh, good.
there.
Good.
Some of them are still there.
Not
So
all.
that's one of the things that I failed to mention is that we'll work on that to try to figure out how much it would really cost.
So I
And-
have that number. I'll get it to
Oh,
you.
good.
I mean, because he just had the roller and I thought, great, let's get
Great.
that
Let 'em
down.
do it. Yeah.
Go take a walk right here, please.
Thank you.
Good. Excellent. I think that would be a good thing to work on.
Yeah.
Do you have any updates on that grant, by the way, the planning grant?
Yes, we're going to, Brian and Ladine and I are we'll probably have to meet with you, want to help work on the planning grant because we have until December 31st of 2027 to have it completed.
Okay. So you'll have to find somebody to help with it and all that jazz.
Yep.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. Okay. Historic preservation, I kind of just gave this thing, we're working on that sign, so that's that. Moving on to the port.
Okay, the port, the new cranes are working well. If anyone wondered about that, crab season has started with it's going well. Everyone's doing well. There's been a little bit of turnover with our staff at the port. So we've got some fresh young faces with fresh attitudes, and things are looking good there. Yeah, really looking good.
Is this weather must be really?
It is, but you can't catch the same crab twice. So what happens is a lot of stuff gets caught up, and then it's like a brick wall, So that's kind of production has just like really stopped the last few days. So it's kind of a little bit scary, but we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll just come crawling out of the mud, and everyone's going to be rich, famous. Yeah. That's about it though for the port. I can't think of anything that's really super.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Other than that, just kind of a cool little update there.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I put the watershed report, we put into a written report into the agenda. So nobody has any questions on that. How about fire? Counselor Brennan?
I was not able to make the meeting because of a scheduling conflict, and I don't have the notes from it yet.
Okay. Okay, well, let's then move forward. We have no.
Can I add one thing to
Yes.
that? Because I know that we have, I can't say if they approved it or not, but we did complete the contract negotiations and agreed on a number, and then that check was taken to the fire department. So the president there, Mari Locus, we've been working closely to make sure that that had happened. So I've not heard that it didn't happen, so I'm assuming that that went through just fine. So that contract is taken
Okay.
care of.
And
Yeah,
just-
I knew that they were going to be discussing it at that meeting, but I haven't gotten any of the notes from that meeting yet, so.
Could you, Melissa, just very briefly say though, that contract was negotiated, kind of came to council at some point, but now in this phase, we just are in kind of a phase where it just gets like the amount goes up by CPI or something every year until it's renego. How does it work?
Yeah, well, it's kind of,
Remind everybody.
it's sort of, it's been a longstanding contract, and basically, again, I've only been here as it's happened twice, and that was just to negotiate to be sure that it made sense and what we're doing. And yes, that it would go up by CPI. That is something that we talked about last year, and then we did that again this year. So until something major needs to be really renegotiated, if there's a different thing there, then we kind of just
Renew it.
roll it forward and renew it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. We have no old business in this new year, so we can move on to the new business, which is the Kaitola contract for municipal CPA services. So why don't you tell us about that, Melissa?
Okay, we opened up and did our standard procurement looking for professional finance contractors. As has been mentioned already, we had Ann Heath for part of last year. She now has become the interim city administrator for the city of Gold Beach. And so she doesn't have the time, to do our finances also, although she has been really lovely. And if I've had questions or things, she's been good about answering and doing that. So continues to be a good partner, even on the city administrator side for Gold Beach. So that's been really great. We opened it up. We had multiple, like 5 CPAs turned in information. We ultimately landed with a group out of Eugene. So it's Eric Kaitola, so Kaitola CPAs. And we will be working with Eric, who's the father, and Leaf, who is the son. And they are also the financial contractors for for Curry County. And so they will be coming through. So this last Tuesday, the 13th, they came through. We got to meet them. I met with them for probably an hour and a half to say, where are we? Where would we like to go? What are things that we need to have done yesterday, right now, in 20 minutes next week, to try and lay out what we need to get a better understanding of where we are. In this interim, it's been hard because Dina Lang has been here for 9 years. She's been an amazing, worker, but she's part-time, and she does the payroll and accounts payable and all of that, and has been sort of the historical knowledge keeper for our office for that amount of time. And when Ann Heath came in this last year, she changed some things up, and we were very clear about that in here. But now that she's not here and wanting to know what the new fiscal contractors wanted to do, we've sort of just been in a bit of a holding pattern. And so we've been paying the bills that we know we have to pay, and for the things that have come up that we've had to take care of. But moving forward, we will be getting the advice and the knowledge of the Kaitolas to help us move forward. So that's good. Case in point, in talking in that meeting, we discussed the idea of that 3% credit card pass through. And Eric, who has worked with the city of Oak Ridge and has worked with the city of Cottage Grove, which is where his example came from, he's the one that said, hey, they're changing all that stuff, be careful on this. We're going to have to look at this to figure out what to do. And so he knew about that ahead of time, and he was the first one to say, this is going to be a bigger snafu than what we think, but I've worked on it with the city of Cottage Grove, and here are some possible solutions. So that was really nice to hear with that.
So that's in relation to the credit card fee, there's gonna be some pitfalls and such, is that?
Mhm.
So when we first brought that service to, we thoroughly discussed the 3%, the charge, and the council did that time.
How long ago was that?
That was during my first term, so 10 years, 12, 11 years ago.
Okay.
And it was thought that people will sometimes pay, that it may actually not, it may be counterproductive.
It may become what?
Counterproductive.
Okay.
And it's at the end of the day, when you look at all of it. And the question was, do we really need to do that to someone who's obviously struggling? That was the discussion that was had. And the council at the time agreed that we didn't want to pass that 3% on to the customer.
Mhm.
They may not, they may get their water shut off or, whatever, which can be, I guess, I don't know, is it more, I wasn't really part of the whole digging into the nuts and bolts of it, but I do recall the discussion and there was some evidence that was presented to us and it seemed like we didn't want to do that. And so we didn't. So we
Mhm.
didn't. I don't know what's changed, obviously, but maybe moving forward, I don't know what we're paying the guy to figure it out, but we might be spending more to get less. And especially if they can come in and pay it without the fee. I don't know. It's just throwing it out there. I don't object to what, anything or whatever. I just wanted to provide a little bit of a historical look at
Right.
how we ended up there.
And
And it was thought out and discussed.
And I think that was what was thought out and discussed last year too with the finance committee. And is this something that we should look at again? And then the discussion was, yes, let's look into it and try to pass that on. Again, on those big decisions like that, it would be up to you folks to decide if that's a policy change that you want to make, then
Right.
we would need to do that.
It was asked, I think that the thing of it was, is how many people are going to need it. And well, I guess at this point in time, we're paying someone else to figure out what it's going to cost.
No, I think it's just, we just, what Melissa was just saying is the finance committee determined that it was like we were spending over like $30,000 a year to provide this service. And that's like a big chunk of change for our city.
It's $30,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like
That
$18,000
was-
in bank fees for water and $12,000 in bank fees for wastewater.
And so really, I think actually Wiz's or Counselor Burns' idea of like, maybe we should just be pushing people to do the other thing might really be the simplest solution. But our first,
Like a cash discount, would that be more appealing to? You can't do that.
well, we just,
I shouldn't say anything. We went through this in another organization that Wiz and I were at. Oh,
Thank you.
Oh, we went through this and there are some prohibitions of giving a cash discount. We went through this in the co-op. And so.
but you could have a prohibition to say we're only going to take cash or direct. Well,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. We could research it, but I think what Melissa was just saying is we're not really paying this guy to research it so much as he already knows, he's already kind of knows it, so that here Dina's been pulling her hair out trying to figure it out, and he already knew like, oh gosh, yeah, let's wait, because there's all these big court cases happening right now with credit card fees
Oh,
and
gotcha. But the 3% would apply to those who call in and use the automated system, not someone who walks in with a credit card.
We don't have the ability to take credit card information or debit card information over the phone because we were told because it's an internet line and it's not secure, we're not to do that. That was what David Johnson told us, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So we haven't been doing that. So if a person has it on automatic credit card through the portal on the website, then there's a $1.25 fee for doing that automatically. And then we don't charge them an extra fee to use their credit card at this point. This last council decision during the finance committee and the budget committee, and the decision to do that was to see about passing that 3% credit card onto them to use it on the website. If a person walks inside the office and deals with Joseph or I or Marissa to do that, they don't get charged that fee. So it's really a convenience fee to either have it set up on your credit card to go just automatically through that portal, or to go on there and use it through online means.
So if someone has automatic bill pay set up, basically, kind of,
Through a credit card,
then we charge them 3% more.
we haven't yet because we can't figure out how
That's
to
the
make that happen.
$30,000.
Well, the whole system costs 30,000. The guy that walks in uses that same system and doesn't pay,
Right.
right? So I'm just, I'm just saying, this is the idea that those people are costing us 30,000. We should definitely not say that, right? So our entire banking service costs us.
The whole,
We
the
didn't
whole
even-
town has to pay for them using. the
Well, I
credit
get it,
card.
I get it. But that, someone on auto bill pay, I would think that we would want to call them and,
Well, I mean, it's best if they do auto bill pay on like from their checking account. rather
Correct.
than-
That doesn't charge.
That
so
doesn't
checking
If they do,
account
so a checking account, or if it comes from their savings or something like that, an ACH it's called, if they have automatic bill pay through their bank, it just comes through, and sometimes we get a check or sometimes it just comes through. However, if they use a credit card online, it does,
Gotcha.
yeah.
But I would say, let's just get back to the matter at hand, because the good news is, again, that this guy, Mr. Kaitola, who I stopped by to meet too, and I'll just say I was really impressed. I thought he in particular seemed extremely professional.
Mhm.
And he's got his son up and coming behind him, so that was kind of cool.
Mhm.
That hopefully they have experience and knowledge and will help to guide us. So they're not like inventing the wheel for the first time. And we've been kind of, you guys know, especially who's been around for a longer time, we've been in this sort of difficult no man's land of not having a finance director since David Johnson left, having kind of seat of the pants things going on and flying blind and falling behind on audits and all sorts of things. So getting somebody into that position that can really help us get onto firmer footing it's kind of an essential
It is.
aspect. I didn't realize it honestly until really understanding our budgeting and everything more. I'm still trying to understand it, how that really is our fundamental job as counselors, is that fiscal oversight to make sure we've got all the pieces going in the right direction to do what's needed. So I think getting this person,
So they're gonna work remotely and will attend if asked, or
Mhm.
how will they,
well, they will attend,
budget meetings and?
Yes, so they'll definitely be part of the budget meeting. Not the finance committee meetings necessarily, because those are a smaller group that meeting, just trying to figure out what we're doing. But then when it comes to the budget meetings, yes. So we'll have to figure that out with, again, they might even come down here because they are, again, working with Curry County. And so we're hoping that that will help sort of draw them here. An example too was we talked about which auditors we were using and all of that. And they talked about that they were going to go visit Curry County's auditors and wanted to know who our auditors were, also in Medford, to go visit with them and say, okay, what's the history here? What do you need? How can we help make this better? All of that. So they very much seem very professional. They're licensed CPAs, and particularly Eric Kaitola, the father, has been doing this a long time and has worked with many municipalities to understand, again, not just CPA general things, but also government finance, which is, again, where my blind spot is of all the specifics and the rules and things like that. So I'm very hopeful that by
Sounds
getting
great.
these
Sounds like
folks
good.
on here is really important. Now, the other piece of that, however, is the money we had budgeted for the auditors and for the finance group was about half of what we're actually going to be needing and
That is a
spending.
bit of a problem.
It is a bit of a problem because those things are so expensive. Both of those services are so expensive. And it just makes my head hurt, the idea that the oversight that you have to have, you could spend more money on the audit on that oversight than you do on actually getting the work done.
Wow.
And so that is something that I too have had to try to wrap my head around.
And
to
this
do
is,
this.
if I, not to get too far off the track, but one of the things that we're going to be discussing at our work session next week, we're going to be talking about the police levy, but a lot of what we are going to be grappling with is this bigger picture of the budget and where we're at financially. And, we had a lot of unanticipated costs last year, or the first, whatever you want to call it. It's so hard to keep track of the
It's just
fiscal year
been-
versus the other.
Right.
But one of those was, as Melissa said, we all of a sudden we figured out that the audit costs about $50,000. And I called the auditor to find out, well, is that just because we've had some rough years? And he's like, no, that's kind of the cost moving forward. And we actually gave Port Orford a discount because you guys are so little and we know.
We're all
how-
earnestly trying to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
they're very kind.
So then we looked at the budget category, and as Melissa said, where the budget was sort of, like half, there wasn't enough for both. So anyway, which gets to the contract. So we have to have bigger discussions about all this because we don't have enough money. And so that gets to a question on this contract, is the compensation level is pretty darn high. And I was wondering what the term is for that. Is that like for a year?
That is, no,
or-
that is for the 2 years.
For 2
So
years,
That is
okay.
for, yeah.
I
So
didn't
The
see
92 this
96
figure
is for 2 years.
Oh.
So it started, when they did it,
Good.
yeah, when they started it, it was, when we first started talking about it, we had tried to hire this. Remember, we've had this thing open and trying to get this done and everything even halfway through last year when we knew Ann Heath wasn't going to be here. So part of that funding was for that, but then we were able to adjust it. So yeah, this is this year and into next year.
I didn't see the term in here. Do you know where it is offhand? I was like looking for it. It's got to be here somewhere, but
So half
Right.
of
It
it
was
would
in
come out
his-
of the 26.
Yeah.
26, half 27, 28.
yeah, or half will come out if he's starting now, half will come out of the 25, 26.
Where is the rest of this?
And then, because we're now in 25, 26, so half will come out of
Oh,
that, and then half will come out of 26, 27.
Where?
but we still don't have the money.
No,
Doesn't make sense to me.
You got to figure it has
So
to
this
come
is
from
the-
somewhere else.
Contract, which is fine.
There's
it says term,
right at
the
the
term of
top.
this agreement shall extend from its execution. But then it doesn't
But it
say,
doesn't have the rest of their stuff in it. It just goes to this again. It's like with the proper part wasn't copied.
That's what I had.
Okay.
Did
I will get that
our
to you and
attorney
I
look
will,
at
I will get that to you and I will,
Did we have our attorney look at this?
she's the one that, yes, she's the one that did this whole contract. Yeah.
do you just see how the term, there's no end, but I mean, maybe it's just, it says
To June-
extend, oh, to, oh,
to
okay. I thought it was,
June 30th,
oh, I thought it said
2027.
extended from, okay, got it. I'm sorry, I was confused. Having a senior moment. Okay, that's my question.
Well, I'll move to accept the contract with Kaitola CPA as written.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Okay, we'll call for the vote. Counselor Rask,
Yes.
Counselor Lovendall,
Yes.
Counselor Webb,
Yes.
Counselor Pogwizd,
Yes.
Counselor Burns,
Yes.
Counselor Brennan.
Yes.
Okay,
What are we gonna do with the money?
excellent.
These are the questions that we're going to have to figure out. These are what, this is what we're up against.
That's kind of why I paused there. It's just,
Right. And I understand the pause because again, these costs have so outstripped what we have been traditionally budgeting for and what we've done. Because again, this is what we could get though, honestly, for the level of what we need as oversight to
Yeah,
do
we
it.
need it.
And this is even with like me doing the regular reconciliations and Marissa doing the utility reconciliations and Dina doing the double checks. And I mean, this isn't even the stuff that normally would be,
is Dina interested in?
she is not.
Nothing.
No, she works part-time and she wants to have that level of responsibility and oversight. And she is so precise and so right on in what she does. But, you know, that when you have this level to go and get to be a CPA and to have that level, and then also then to have the experience of all the municipal and government financing that has to go with this, that we can trust, it costs.
Unfortunately, I mean, that's what Melissa was saying. We left the job open for quite some time. We were hoping
Long
to
time.
get a local person to just work 3 days a week or something.
So
But-
David Johnson, the city's trained him, and sent him to school. And so I'm wondering,
We left it open. I mean, we left it open for months
No, I-
for a
that's why I
full
asked that.
finance, right. And that was what we were talking about and what we would prefer is to have someone here and as a finance director and doing that. So we had them kind of open concurrently. And then the only kind of bites we got on it were all these people who are remote, who aren't from here. And I even beat bushes trying to find local people. I called other people who I knew through school, finance folks, and all that, and nothing.
Never did talk to the one who's doing the corpse financing. I was supposed to talk to her.
Well, I think we determined that person was more kind of like the Dina level of person in terms of their
Like
financial.
for bookkeeping sort of things, and because they're different.
Yeah, no, yeah.
From I think you talked to Catherine. I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
You did talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we're kind of in a bind on that. I think if anybody has, it would be a great career for someone to go into. That would be to do this kind of work because it's desperately needed and there's not enough people to do it. In fact, when I was talking to the auditor, he said there's not even enough people to do audits right now. There's like a shortage of the people who are qualified to do auditing. So, but everything depends on that. Like we have to do audits annually. We have to have a balanced budget. There's things that we're supposed to do for statute and just also to be fiscally responsible. So, but it is crazy, as you say, that it costs more to do the oversight than the.
That's crazy.
Right. And these are the things this is what keeps me awake at night. These are the things that keep me awake at night because the costs continue to rise, just like in your household. Your costs continue to rise. And, we talk about John and his crew trying to keep this thing afloat with baling wire and bubble gum, and they do it. But you have these projects that you want to get done, but then some other thing happens, and then you have to spend so much money on overtime, and you have to spend so much money on this monitoring, and you have to spend so much money to do it. And then we try to go and get grants, and you look at loans, and you do a one-stop, and you talk to DEQ, and you talk, like all of this is such a complex animal. And that was my chutes and ladders comment to the mayor, because as we were talking about the things that we've tried to get done and the grants we've tried to go for and the things that you have to do, that you almost get to there and then something happens and you go down 2 layers. And it is maddening because we're trying to live within our means and we're trying to work in the best way we can with the team that we have, and we have a good one. But just trying to think forward of how do we give the services to the people of Port Orford that they deserve and that they need, and giving grace when we need to for people who are struggling and who have those things. So setting up programs and things to help people so that we can keep their water on and all of those things, and trying to stay in compliance with all of the agencies and all of the things, and to be as clear and transparent as we possibly can be. It just feels like there's not enough money to continue to do all of those things. And that's what is really, really difficult in this, is trying to prioritize that and know that we have an issue on Coast Guard Hill, and we have an issue at Deedy Street, and we have the issue at the Hamlet, and we have, you know what I mean? All of these things
That people complain.
that people
and call
complain
have
and do, and the
trouble with.
potholes and everything, like we know, I know, but so that's the part that is very frustrating to do. And the one that we're really working on now that we continue to hear about, and it was the decision made, is again, those idle meters, people who have not had to pay for those idle meters are very, very frustrated that we're now saying that they have to pay to have that service and not use it and to do that. But I don't know how we continue to provide the services that we do at the level that we do without finding ways to increase our revenue and to decrease our expenditures. Those are the only two ways that you can balance a budget. And we're going to have a lot of hard conversations about how do we go about doing this. And so anyway, but we're in it, we're doing it.
And
We're
that's gonna,
moving
and
forward
that kind of almost leads us to the next topic.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get there, actually, we can go to that topic first, then we'll come back to the painting schedule. I mean, that topic will be discussed we have a public safety finance work session coming up, which is next Thursday. It's a work session. Counselor Webb had suggested maybe we could have it as a special meeting. I could think that would be a fine thing to do too, if you wanted to. But I don't think we're going to make any decisions. I think we're just going to have a start of a discussion because there's just a lot to discuss. So let's just leave it as a work session. And then the other piece that I had added to is 8B is painting this weekend. You may recall, we volunteered to help paint the City Hall interior offices over the weekend. And I think, Joseph, you got the spreadsheet of when people could come. One of the things we have to do is figure out just how to make sure we don't have a quorum. But do you think, given the schedule that we have, it will be possible for us to either just work in separate spaces? Are you going to be there to be able to make sure that we don't have a quorum?
I think we could do it without, if we all had kids on the basketball team, we'd all be at the gymnasium watching them play at the same time, and it's not a public meeting.
Yeah, no city business.
Should be a quorum.
No city business is going to be discussed or anything. The only thing we might.
That one there, I would, go ahead.
Yeah, no city business is going to be discussed. So, I mean, I'm thinking that we are going, different ones of us are going to be showing up at different times to paint.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking if we just make the point of not having 3 of us in the same room, different ones could be down at working in different spaces. We were thinking about doing it from 9 to 4. And so if people could do that with Saturday being the day to tape and prep, and hopefully we
We're
can
going to
get.
get a running start at it tomorrow. So we've already started pulling things off the wall and, getting things.
This Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, staff in here, we're going to try and move things away from the walls and things we can get behind and do what we need to
On
do.
Saturday. What's this Thursday?
17th.
17th and 18th.
And
So the prep works is Saturday and the painting is Sunday. Is that correct?
yeah, and then if we have any spillover, I guess we can go into Monday, but hopefully we can get it done.
Mhm.
And bring supplies that you may have at home. And Susan Russell has volunteered to help supervise us on Saturday because she's has some professional painting experience. Like she, of course, advised paint the ceiling first. I thought,
Sure.
gosh, that's important. Yep.
Yep.
Haven't painted in a room in my house for like 20 years. It's probably overdue. Anyway, so that's the plan. Any other things that we need to refine on that front? You okay with that, Joseph, to do it that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be Saturday from 9 to 4.
Yeah.
Sunday 9 to 4.
Yeah, and we can, yeah, that's the plan.
How do we know when we're supposed to be here?
I'm putting out a notice that there might be a quorum, but no city business will be discussed, then it isn't as important for the scheduling aspect of it.
Okay.
It seemed like, I think there were 3 of us who said we could be there at whenever.
My
And then-
fishing schedule looks like I will be busy this weekend.
Yeah,
The weather looks
I know.
really good for this
Yeah.
weekend. So.
So I would say tomorrow, we're going to, again, come in, do a little bit of work because there's things we need to clean up for the week, but then we'll continue to move things away or whatever. So if you came even starting tomorrow in early afternoon, that could work to start taping
What
and
about
doing
a
this.
late Sunday, finish it up, grind?
Yeah.
thing? I could do that.
And then, well, and Monday is MLK, so the offices will be
Oh.
closed anyway. And so if we need to slop over into Monday, we can
Oh,
do
I see.
that as well.
works
So that's why we picked this weekend, so we had
That
more
works well. Yeah.
time and let it air out.
You can text, I mean, if you come back on Sunday and you want to see if it's still happening, you're welcome to text
Yeah,
us.
it would be, I was thinking like it's a push Sunday night, let's get it done, but
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like this.
I don't know how we'll feel. I mean, we may just, people might be, yeah, let's push and get it done, or people
Yeah.
might be
Yeah.
exhausted.
Yeah,
So
okay, that sounds good.
why don't we do that?
That's great that we're doing that.
The staff, we really appreciate that because it's something that we've wanted to do and have done. And so just the help is really, really appreciated.
Yeah, I think, I know
It's
that
huge.
right from, I think the first day you walked in and saw those paint samples all over.
Watches all over everything.
people, it's one of those things that's driven you up a wall. And
Yes.
so hopefully we can make that happen and help to boost the morale
Yes,
around
yes, yes. So
our
thank you.
staff.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, we'll move on to considerations. Do we have any citizen considerations? No. Anybody online? Okay, without that, we will move on to staff considerations. Anything? Chief Hobart? Melissa, Joseph? No? Okay, anything from the counselors?
I had one thing, our franchise agreement with Coos Curry Electric, it comes with 8 or 12 lights or whatever, street lights.
You know, we changed it the last time where we have to pay for the lights now, right? Yeah.
So,
It used to be that it came with like 40 lights or something, but now it's that we pay for each one and the rate was lower or something. I forget how, I don't remember the details, but we could look it up. What was your question then?
well, it was, I have noticed some not functioning and
Mhm.
wanted to, wondering how the process, the verification process and things like that, but it sounds like that's,
I would tell Melissa, and then we should, you know, I've noticed that some of the lights, they're in the process also of switching old bulbs to LED bulbs. So you might be noticing that some of the new lights are kind of brighter than the old ones, or the old ones used to be kind of more of a golden color and now they're a little bit more of a white color.
sodium, yeah. for all those sodium.
So I've seen that happening in a few places, but I bet Melissa could call them and just find out, or we haven't had to deal with it yet in this
Right.
new system, I think.
Do we
so.
pay for those lights then?
We pay for the electricity.
Just the electricity?
But
They
don't-
own them and we pay for them?
I don't remember how it is
I
now.
was gonna say, I think, so this happened before, but it used to be that how did it go? That we had them, but I think we have to have them change and we have to pay for them now. So it used to be part of it that they would provide it and they would do it. And it was part of the franchise agreement, but then it was taken back more to us. But many of them are actually, along here are ODOT specific.
Well, I mean, I
101s.
didn't want, I was hoping that they would just get fixed without breaking the state because it's the light in the alley behind where I live. And it's behind where a lot of people like to go to the bathroom and
Yeah.
things like that behind. And I've noticed increased activity in that area since the lights have been out. And I didn't want to bring it up because it was me, you know, I mean, but that was why I was asking.
Okay, I can call
But I
in.
don't want it to cost us anything that we can't afford, so just.
It's one of those things, I think we looked at the cost of operating the lights, and I think they were like $50 a year for each one or something. Is that right?
This is a new LED one. I mean, I can't imagine it being more than, but it's just not working. So I would imagine it's
Okay. And those bulbs are supposed to last forever, right?
forever, yeah, a million years,
A
yeah.
million years.
They don't know Port Orford's.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have the address
So
that
so
Brett can give it
can
to
you
you?
text me
I
where,
will, I don't,
where it is,
yeah.
or however that works, and I can ask about it, or you can call and
it's on
ask too.
Tishner, it's on Tishner Street.
It would be interesting to know
Mhm.
what the deal is now. I'd have to, I mean, yeah, in all of your spare time, but,
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
okay. Any other considerations? Okay. Well, I already had my word, so I have nothing further to say. So we will see each other again next week, a week from tonight at 5:30 here. And with that, we'll close tonight's meeting at 7:09.